Stay updated with what businesses are doing in the Middle East and find new strategies to grow your business. I am Ayman Aitani, Business Growth Specialist, and this is BizWrap. Today, we talk about art, brand building, and what businesses can learn from Banksy and the exhibition of his artwork in Dubai. I'll also be showing you my favorite piece, which is a combination of tech, art, and social commentary all in one. Plus, Amazon has partnered with Dubai Economy to offer license holders valuable Amazon storefronts and online courses for getting more customers and for better retail operation. And Deliveroo has IPO'd, and Amazon still owns 11% of it. Both companies are active players in the UAE. Plus, YouTube Kids is now finally available in the MENA region. So if you have kids that are below the age of 12, I'll be discussing a little bit more what key features you can take advantage of. And lastly, in a retro bit, 2G GPRS speed, slow 2G GPRS speed for mobile internet is shutting down in the UAE. I will share with you memories of me being involved in a 1997 rollout of GPRS and how mobile operators look at mobile internet at the time. It was not a priority. I'm Ayman Aitani, and this is BizWrap. Alone together is a concept that we live every day. We're together, yet we're alone. There's a book called Alone Together, and my favorite Banksy piece of art captures it so well. Look here about how the couple are together, right? So they're very close to each other. They're in a warm embrace, yet they're so far apart. They're gazing at each other, yet they have an eye that is on to their mobile device. Alone together. If you look around you in any social setting, dinner, social gathering, hotel lobby, you will see that we're together, but we're curious and longing for what is not with us at the moment. A few weekends ago, I had a weekend with family and friends and so on. Very nice setup with kids and activities and so on. You'd see a lot of us are on our devices, although we're in a scenario that is excellent scenario that is Instagram friendly, if you wish, yet a lot of us are checking Instagram to see what others are doing. We're together, but we're not. If you're in the Emirates or into street art, take a look at the Banksy art exhibition. It's labeled as the largest collection of Banksy's artwork, around 120 recreated street art. So they are re-stenciled, repainted, re-graffitied within the theater of one of the Emirates. And the artwork is very accessible. I know that a lot of art people who are art specialists, they frown upon how easy and accessible art is. But for me, I took my kids to it. They'd be spending time on YouTube, right? So I'd rather have that accessible commercial art that the art specialists usually look down on, because I was able to enjoy it. I was able to take my family to it. I do a video thing with my kids. Obviously, I'm a fan of video. I do video recordings with my kids when we're there for them to show in their art class in school. So yes, here is a video that shows you footage of the Banksy exhibition. The largest collection of Banksy's artwork is in one place at Mall of the Emirates in Dubai. It's a combination of stencils, paintings, and videos explaining his artwork. Walking through, all I could think about is brand. The brand that Banksy has built. And I'm thinking about businesses. As businesses, we look at brand as logos and colors and theoretical high-level things. The brand that is built over time helps garner people's attention. And then when there's a call to action, here we are. This is an unofficial exhibit. We're here to attend and participate. If you're in Dubai, in the Emirates, you should come and visit to take a look at the different types of artwork that are there. I talk to my kids about graffiti and art, and I'm trying to tell them, I'm trying to navigate this, right? So I'm not trying to promote graffiti, yet I want them to understand art. It's not necessarily straightforward, and they were interested in many of this, but not a lot. Again, it's a huge exhibit, and kids have a certain attention span on very specific things. My favorite piece of art for Banksy is about how we're alone together, and that is a big focus for me, for how we're together, but we're alone, so we're together and we're looking away. click on هيك هون. That's not the right test. Click, 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 click. 1, 2, 1, 2. Click, 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 click. Never mind. Dubai Economy and Amazon have joined hands to provide DED trade license holders with access to online courses. For businesses who are keen to sell online, and they're really keen, right? So not the blah, blah, lip service of, yes, I want to do everything online. Those who are really keen, they can definitely leverage the tools and tactics that are part of Amazon Seller University. A big element of this partnership that stood out for me is the dedicated storefront, where the businesses can showcase their products. That's a valuable digital asset within Amazon. So it's like a mini site within Amazon. Plus, they have access to courses, online courses about how they can better sell and how they can better operate. Next is Deliveroo.
That's me smiling because I'm saving tons of money on Amazon. I did my holiday shopping and my kids are clueless. Caleb was all like,
Dad seems extremely happy.
She was like, yeah. I was getting happier and happier and my kids were getting more confused. Dad, you good? The doorbell rang and I rushed to the door, stubbing my toe. How did that not hurt? This was the moment I had been waiting for and it came sooner than I thought. Here you go, guys.
Do you think he's pranking us? Yeah, I think so.
They'll never know how much money I saved holiday shopping on Amazon.
So Deliveroo IPO'd recently, and it has the Emirates as one of its global markets. Amazon had a large stake in Deliveroo. It still has 11% equity in Deliveroo even after the IPO. So both Amazon and Deliveroo are major players in the UAE and it's considered to be a growth market for them. Some of the IPO money goes towards growing their global markets, including that of the UAE. Next, we're going to If you have kids under 12, use YouTube Kids. I did not take into consideration how certain YouTube channels are contributing to raising my kids. I was trying to be always very careful about what games they play. So they have a PG rating. So I want to make sure that they play games that are appropriate to their age. I was paying attention to what movies they're watching, to make sure they're age appropriate. Even some cartoons are not age appropriate. So I was focusing on those. I completely forgot about YouTube channels and YouTube content. And so in general, I wouldn't want my 8-year-old son to spend his summer with a 16-year-old cousin. So there's a large difference in age and mindset and things of interest and so on. And yet my son spends a lot of time watching a 16-year-old male who has a crusher. A crusher is a huge machine in a garage that crushes things. So all that YouTuber does is he crushes things in his garage. And that's something that my son absorbs. So enter YouTube Kids. It helps with age-appropriate, filtered content. I tried YouTube Kids many years ago when my kids were much younger. It was fine, but it was limited in the content. Now things are much, much different. So warning to parents who are like me, who already have their kids who are absorbing full YouTube, moving them to YouTube Kids is going to be a bit of a struggle, especially if they're a little bit on the older side. So I'd suggest you get them on YouTube Kids early. You have a certain level of control. So today, when I see my kids watching certain content, I ask them to unsubscribe from that content. But that doesn't mean they cannot see that content. That doesn't mean YouTube doesn't recommend it. That doesn't mean they can simply search for it and find it. It's just more of an oral agreement between my kids and I. So you have here a way with YouTube Kids where you can block certain channels or certain categories of content. In terms of time on electronic devices, whether they're tablets, their phones, or Nintendo Switches and other consoles, I did some work with one of my schools and one of the schools that my kids go to, and their recommended time was 30 minutes a day. 30 for kids. It's very difficult to achieve. I'm sure that if you have kids, that 30 minutes a day on online content is a lot. I've set up a limit on their devices of around 2 hours, and that's on their main iPad, but on their iPad and their phone. So that's a collective of 2 hours. But then again, then after that, they move on to their console, which is a Nintendo Switch or a PS or Xbox, whatever it is. You can set limits there, but that's an additional limit. And then the recent TVs have YouTube on them, so there are no limits there. And there's always their mother's phone that doesn't have any limit, right? So they will find a way. Just the limit is a way to help get them to lift their heads and fight in person versus just, spending times on their devices too. Moving on.
I feel like slow internet is way worse than no internet. Because no internet's great. You go outside, you look at a bird, it's wonderful. Nothing makes our phone addiction feel more like a drug addiction than just a little bit of internet. When you're staring at an Instagram story, buffering, yelling at it, like, come on! I just want to know who else was at Catherine's bachelorette party!
A telecom operator in Dubai is communicating. So, telecom operator in the UAE is communicating a 2G shutdown. So, 2G is an old internet part. So, now we talk about 4G and 5G that's coming up. We're talking about 2G GPRS. And that reminded me of when I was back in college and I interned for a mobile operator. And I was lucky to be part of the 2G GPRS rollout team. So, they were rolling out the internet. I was super excited about it. One thing that dinged me that I was very offended by is the way in 97 the mobile internet worked is there were voice channels, and then there was a small subset of the voice channels that is being used for data. So that means that if there's if there are a lot of people using the phone or there's a lot of people in that region, the mobile operator quickly drops data as it's not a priority. They drop it. And for some reason, I felt very offended by how they can easily take away mobile internet from me, and it's not a priority. And so, yes, I understand you have emergency phone calls and so on. But at the time, in 97, as a young adult in interning in college, it was very important for me to have my internet. And that part did not sit well with me. After that internship, I took a part-time job during my college. I was working for an internet service provider. And that's all they do. They provide internet. And for me, that's when I felt that internet potential can be fully unleashed. And I felt so part of such an environment because providing internet to people was the priority. That's what the business is versus a mobile operator at the time. Their core focus was voice with a little bit of internet if there are available voice slots for us to give you. So working as a provider, I sense that the whole potential of the internet is there. And that sat much better with me, and that also helped me shape my interests moving forward, looking for jobs later on, and what I'm looking at for work post-college. So, and that's 1997, right? So now 2021, going without internet for a couple of hours or a full day, it's painful, right? So we're used to it, our messaging, the video content, the time in between when we're bored, between things for us to do so. So yes, this is where we are today from an internet connectivity perspective, and we haven't seen anything yet, right? So the 5G is going to come. It's even much faster, much more ubiquitous around us. So this is all very early days of internet. We'll reminisce about 5G the same way I'm reminiscing now about 2G at the time. All right, and that's it from me from today, and we'll talk soon. Thank you for showing up. All right, the episode is over. Thank you for watching.